Try to be friends with the beast. Let's see. It's all about destiny. Yours, mine, the entire world's. The third, let's see. Whiz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Whiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod. Whiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Whiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go. But says they've been here for you since you were a kidling, but when you left, you also chose to distance yourself from everyone that cared for you. Whiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay.
Oh, the light just... it hurts your eyes, am I right? Life in the shade is cold.
It's the perfect thing when the world's heating up.
So you're agreeing that the dark is nothing more than shade?
Look, I'm great at throwing shade and you're only good for catching it.
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Sad that the world is close to death. Wonders if he might be able to hold out a bit longer in an octopod. Wonders why you felt like kicking the world so hard when it was already down. Fascinated you wound up working with the Jagni. He thinks of them not as makers, but takers. Just wishes they'd collect their own things instead of taking them from others. But that's not nearly as important as this. Whiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths, but there's something else down there too, gnawing at the tree of life. He's named it the Murk puff. This is why he's Tinkertonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up Mekafingro in the MEKASTADIUM that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister. Getting that tool will help turn around the situation for sure. It'll definitely help him unshut the hatch. Worth going outside just to see the night sky. Don't want to point a finger, but the MEKASTADIUM is near here. Great shot. Bolted shut. That's more than stuck. Finding things both here and there. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Daytime is a good time to be outside. Whoa, smell that? Biohazard nearby. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. It's so vibrant out during daylight. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. Well, he means slick, as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo-Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Murk puff is crunching bark by the minute. Whiz heard he's currently stranded at the end of the line, so it should be easier to track him down now compared to when he's running rails. Choo-Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Wonders who doesn't like rules or rails. They keep you on the straight and narrow and bring you right where you belong. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? He thinks you're on a dark path right now, but there's no reason you can't find a wheelhouse and get yourself turned around. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Feels like the world's on a runaway chug straight over a cliff. Says the world might have lasted longer if you hadn't stomped on the go pedal so hard. Thinks you shouldn't work with the Jagni. They once tried to bolt one of their masks to his face. They did an awful job of it. Took forever to get those bolts out. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo-Choo. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wingnut to get back on track. Wingnuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugger-chugger out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy you're here to do it for him. Says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. Good ride long. Tell it, no biting. The Wingnut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. It really is a different world underground. Chop, chop. Someone will pay dearly for that. %50 done. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Choo-Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason, but he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency. It's on the cart. He wants to keep it close by. In general, you won't have much time to act in case of an emergency. Choo-Choo says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste. He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open. Seems glad you think so. You're on the right rail. Choo-Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place. Seems surprised you have to go. Happy? You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo-Choo has no use for it now. Choo-Choo says he feels strongly about helping his next, just like you did for him. He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself. Says he can't see the end of your rails, but if you grease them up good, he hopes you'll enjoy an easier ride. Choo-Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much faster than a chug that thing must be, and no rails needed. Needs no rails, no roads, nothing but air. With the world ending and all the chugs going with it, it's fun to think about what kinds of yards the Ark could take you to instead. Hopes you'll be careful with the Ark. That's the last one around these parts. Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with you.
So what we have here is someone looking for a way out if everything fails. There's a seat open on the Ark, but why would you want this company?
I'm so glad you chose that. We're born alone, we live alone, so let's not meet the end on our own.
We are better off on our own alone. Everyone else are just means to an end.
Being alone is not the same thing as being lonely. And now we don't have to be lonely. It'll all work out in the end.
The end must justify the means. So let's hope the Ark is strong enough to carry us all into the future.
Wishes he could go with you, but he couldn't bear to watch what you do with the Ark. Choo-Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave. Says you should take care. This might be the end of everything as we know it. Whiz says that there's no plan to confront the Murk puff until the octopod is properly armed.
non antica urvaya unara.
He knows you'll need something that packs enough boom to put a dent in that shell, or better yet, head. Pyrosticks will do the trick.
Kapining kai kalay.
He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang.
Zum zum bath.
There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyrosticks shot off and are out there roaming free.
Monoyam en jai vivachineva nodam.
You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them before they go off.
En jai vivachineva.
He's a peculiar little fellow that's been fiddling with splodies since he was a kidling. It runs in his blood. Their family recipes pack a punch. Nighttime is the better time for lots of things. That's a bang plant, where toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces. Seems like a peculiar item. There they are. Now, catch them. That looks like an unbanged pyrostick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. The story will go on as long as there is someone there to listen. The pyrosticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Murk puff where it counts.
Sumsumbath. Nan, Tirampanbai Avaragu.
He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out of Date has named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the Worldeaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea.
Alikan Ratoan. Sumsumbath.
Whiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyrosticks, it squirts guppos, scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Murk puff in particular.
Alikan Rato Menavea. Nan Uyom Jeva.
Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gill. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf. This means you'll have to go visit Gill at Burblebottom. Find
Menavea.
guppos are lively beings, and they're fast too. They're here, there, and everywhere. Or at least they used to be. Could be a monster napping here at any time of day. Treat it fair time and the mount will return the favor. A brick-brack that's still standing. Now, that's a find. There they are. Now, catch them. Let's see. This is Burblebottom, residence of Gill. Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you. Claims to have been born swimming, but he must flap-flop clear of it during these dark days. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? Once you see which way the waters flow, it's a lot easier to go where they're going, even if that's over the edge of the world. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by.
Tiongardway Foundation, Bidnuff Tournament, Ray, Key.
Wonders who would want to. The right wave takes you where you want to go.
Shiomage, Bidnuff Tournament, Ray, Key.
Figures he's ridden his last wave, though, what with the world coming to an end.
I don't afford.
Doesn't understand why you made the goo gooier.
Toodly way of furrow, a steady of man.
Can't stomach how you hang with the Jagni. They keep so much stuff for themselves that they could share with the world.
Pangwale matter.
Claims they have way more than they need, and the rest of the world suffers for it.
Mein Friende.
But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right?
Mein Friend Kevorte.
He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there.
Mas fish with which wife and
Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills. He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison.
Mein Friende.
Says that hardly matters. Even if he could have once, who can now? His friend Whiz needs Guppos for one reason or another, and Gill is ready to point you in the right direction.
Toodly way of furrow.
But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Whiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some Guppos. Then you can get them to Whiz for whatever he has in mind.
A steady of man.
He doesn't have any Guppos, and Whiz is particular about the kind he needs. Finally, a bit of glow. This is Guppo Grotto. You're a long way from the sun. Scrapalicious. Well, what do you know? Just a few moves left. Make them count. Check out that day. Just a few moves left. Make them count.
Biomutant nila.
That seems to be enough Guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition.
Avarilanto vita fenia. Dampati nero.
He's surprised the Murk puff's been able to hold its breath all this time.
Avarilanto vita fenia.
It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by Toxanol's contamination.
Kapiningai kalay.
Being undersurf has meant the Murk puff has been left alone to munch on the root down there undisturbed.
Nan uyom teva. Nan pantalik bali kantafu.
This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others.
Kapiningai kalay modambam kitiam.
The marks the corporation left behind on the land are everywhere, but they also abandoned technology of which he's sure you only found a fraction. Your destiny waits on the path you'll take to avoid it. That was the last of them. You've sealed the fate of the tribe and the tree. It's time for the end game. You have your destiny. Follow it all the way back to Out of Date. He never told anyone about what's next, but he's sure it involves you. Just make sure you don't let anyone but yourself control your destiny. You've come too far for that. The tribe comes first. It's time to return to the tree one last time. He's learned you discovered and activated the last of the arcs. How exciting. Old doesn't always mean bad, especially when talking about tech from the before times. We've lost far more than we've relearned. It's heartbreaking that so much will be lost when this world ends, but the Ark can take you to new places for fresh starts. The world had a far better chance before you came back here, but you had a destiny to fulfill. Questions if you could possibly have any open spaces left for fellow travelers on that Ark of yours.
So what we have here is someone looking for a way out if everything fails. There's a seat open on the Ark, but why would you want this company?
I'm so glad you chose that. We're born alone, we live alone, so let's not meet the end on our own.
We are better off on our own alone. Everyone else are just means to an end.
Being alone is not the same thing as being lonely. And now we don't have to be lonely. It'll all work out in the end.
The end must justify the means. So let's hope the Ark is strong enough to carry us all into the future.
Almost can't speak. He's so happy to be joining your voyage, to conquer the skies and everything beyond. Whiz knows it's the same old, but he likes talking to you. Says you'll meet again